Here's an example from my own life. I have a ton of trouble staying on top of my inbox. I'm the CEO of a startup, and so this is really hard for me to admit at first. It seemed like an indictment of me and my ability to be successful if my inbox was a mess. But last year, after a lot of reflection, I realized that I had to face the fact that the backlog was causing problems throughout my company. Once I was aware of the problem, I could start the next step, observation. When I moved into the observation stage, I wanted to see, with as little judgment as possible, what usually leads to my inbox being crowded. Observing without judgment was really difficult for me. My sense of doubt and fear came up. I thought, should I really need to do this? I really felt like I should just be able to get through my inbox without any problems. But once I got beneath that, I began to notice something really surprising. There were actually many periods where I was on top of my inbox. It's just that every couple weeks there would be a shift where it would just turn into a giant mess. And it had a very specific trigger. Either a single email that I really didn't want to deal with, or a really busy period in my life where I couldn't look at my inbox for a day or two. And when this happened, emails would start to pile up and I'd start to feel shame. I'd avoid my inbox and the pile would just get way worse. It was a vicious cycle. Once I saw this, I realized that there was a logical place to intervene. What I really needed to do was to catch myself right at the point, every couple weeks, where my clean inbox was turning into a mess. And if I could do that, I knew I could keep it clean the rest of the time. This brings us to the next step, experimentation. Once productive people have recognized a problem and observed its contours without judgment, they try new solutions to find out what works. Again, this can be really easy to get twisted up about. We're all filled with preconceptions about what's in and out of bounds to experiment with, and we're really boxed in by those preconceptions. We don't want to look silly, we don't want to look weak, but if we allow ourselves to find what works for us, we often find things that no one else would. For me, I tried a lot of different experiments to deal with my inbox problems. I tried going to a new coffee shop every time I needed to power through some emails. I tried talking about it with my business partner and other people at my company to try to lower my sense of shame about it. I tried a one-touch email strategy. I tried only checking my email twice a day. But none of these really solved the problem completely. So I kept going, and I had a big insight. I figured out that I might be able to use my own desire not to let people down to help me get through my inbox. I'm lucky enough to split a virtual assistant with my business partner. So I wondered, what if I put an hour on my calendar a few times a week where they would babysit me? At the beginning of the hour, they'd message me and ask me how many emails I had in my inbox. And at the end of the hour, they'd message me again to ask how many I'd gotten done. I use my virtual assistant, but you could use anyone in your life, a family member or a friend who struggles with something similar and propose a trade. It literally takes a couple seconds to message back and forth. When I started to consider this, my immediate reaction was shame. I felt like I should not need a babysitter to do my work. And I dreaded the conversation where I had to ask for this kind of thing. I also dreaded admitting it to anyone else. It all seemed very, very silly. But I decided to try it anyway. And it turns out just that little interaction, a few times a week, makes a gigantic difference for me. Getting a message from my assistant keeps me on task on my email and prevents the piles from being created, which makes it really easy for me to keep my inbox clean at every other time. And now I'm sitting here almost a year later with a clean inbox on a consistent basis. This may not work for you, but it does work for me. You might find that other approaches are better, like transferring your emails to your to-do list or making sure you're following a one-touch inbox strategy, or maybe even examining why you need to get through your inbox in the first place. But the only way to find that out is to try it. What I've realized in all of my exploring is that I actually didn't really ever want to be a machine. I just felt guilty and ashamed for not being one. And once I started to work with that, everything changed for me.